And the Ford Motor Company is planning to lay off at least 1,000 of its workers in the U.S.
GM's troubles are affecting the lives of workers on the local dealership level as well. Take a look at this. When 30 were laid off at one GM dealership in Western Michigan, the frustration and anger boiled over. Fistfights erupted in the parking lot between newly out of
workers from Detroit's big three automakers now striking. Their union president says they'll be back at the bargaining table tomorrow. But the big question tonight...
A jaw-dropping revelation hits the automotive industry as two leading auto giants are thrown off their seats. Ford and GM are faced with the most stupefying situations as they can't sell EVs. What began as a gold rush is seemingly coming to an end. This sudden challenge puts both manufacturers and consumers on their toes, and the questions rapidly rise to the surface. Why are these advanced car manufacturing brands facing a rapid decline in sales of EVs? Where did it all go wrong? Is the innovative EV gold truly coming to an end? Or is there any hope for this electrifying industry? There is only one way to find out. Stay with me as we uncover one of the biggest setbacks faced by the automotive industry. The whys, why not, and what next? The knowledge in this video could determine if you remain obsessed with getting one of these futuristic light-powered vehicles, or whether you join the bandwagon still eyeing the good old gas-powered vehicles. The EV market struggle. As with every gold rush, there is a surging high and a depressing low. With EVs in the limelight, the automotive industry witnessed a rave in the sales of EVs from 2021 till the early part of 2023. This rush accounted for over 28 million EVs trailing roads all over the world in 2023, with these electricity-powered vehicles accounting for a whopping 18% of total car sales. However, it seems like this high is suddenly showing symptoms of reaching its end, as consumers have begun to spot some limitations. As a result, top-tier manufacturers like Ford and GM are working overtime to avoid taking the hit. But how much can they dodge it? Especially as the EV market did not just take a swerve in sales without warning its producers with factors like purchase cost, especially since the EV market is transitioning from a niched target audience to a mass market purchase audience. Other factors like concerns about the driving range of EVs, availability of charging infrastructure, a limited selection of models, difficulty in finding EV technicians, and grid capacity, amongst other concerns, have since risen to the surface, especially since mid-2023. Ford's sales struggles. This EV industry titan is not left out of the shaky stance of electric vehicles, as it has recently witnessed a decline in sales growth despite making remarkable sales numbers. The brand recorded a notable loss of $3 billion in the EV business in 2023, as opposed to its thriving sales figures in the previous years. After pouring over $50 billion into developing and manufacturing these battery-powered models, the slowdown in sales is a strong deterrent to further production of EVs. Ford CEO Jim Farley has admitted to the factors that have caused this slowdown in EV sales and rapid losses with the few sales they make. He attributes it to premium pricing. With the electric vehicles pricing high up over 30% above legacy vehicle pricing, it screams out of reach for the common man to think of such a luxury. This premium pricing combats the goal of reducing carbon footprints due to tailpipe emissions. Or are such noble air pollution reduction goals only available to the elite? Also, as the futuristic EV market gains more popularity with mainstream media, consumers demand that it be made more affordable for purchase. This back and forth has led to a remarkable decrease in sales. Limited model selections. Despite Ford's manufacturing of the sleek and cutting-edge F-150 and Mach-E, demands continue to rave for variety. The head of Ford's US sales, Eric Merkel, admits to a depressing 35% in sales of the F-150 Lightning this year, as opposed to an exciting 70% sales done in just 30 days of its production. He also recounts a fall in Mach-E sales from 90% done in 30 days to a saddening 27.7%. Although he maintains a positive front about the sales of EVs going forward, it is too glaring that buyers quickly got tired of the lineup of products, and now the company is considering halting its production. With these challenges slowly climbing their sleeves, do they still stand a chance in this almost wish-wash automotive industry? since they can't sell EVs as much as they want, is there still hope for them against their major competitor, General Motors? GM's unforeseen hurdles. The automotive powerhouse called General Motors is not left out in the EV sales decline and unwanted challenging ride. GM might even be in for more electrifying shock as they had to suddenly lay off over 1,000 workers alongside experiencing slow sales. Surprising, right? But it was not always so. Once upon a time, all that GM wanted to do was dominate the EV race, and that showed in their back-to-back releases of battery-powered vehicles at a speed that would keep competitors on their toes. However, the CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, announced an official postponement of the release of the Chevrolet Silverado EV by 1 year due to shrinking demands and engineering challenges. The halting of the Silverado EV threw the automotive industry into a burrow of questions about the thriving ability of EVs, as the product was supposed to be a comeback to Ford's F-150 model. Amid the chaos, Barra has confessed to the uncertainty in demand for electric vehicles as before, and a decrease in profits. As a result, the company took back its promise to produce over 400,000 electric vehicles in 2024. Instead, they re-strategized to an estimate of 200,000 to 300,000 vehicles in 2024. Can they meet up though? Especially with these glaring factors highlighted by the company. Battery technology issues. General Motors admitting to losing over $1.1 billion in utilising newer Ultium battery packs as their older cars were bolts that used older battery technology. While upgrading of equipment and infrastructure should be normal for any forward-thinking brand, the reduction in the purchase of EVs has constituted a breach in the replacement of funds used to develop these battery-powered vehicles, causing a rollercoaster ride of losses for this innovative car manufacturing company. Pricing. As the mass market indirectly calls for a reduction in prices of these luxury electric vehicles, GM argues that the notion is too far-fetched a tale for them. They blame it on the use of their high-quality Ultium batteries. Reducing their prices like Ford and Tesla are doing will lead to magnificent losses on their end. Although one can argue whether that is a wise choice, especially seeing that due to their stubbornness, the sales keep dropping. Should they give in to the price reduction strategy like the others, seeing that they lose either way? Range anxiety. No one wants to have their electric vehicle beam the low battery sign in the middle of a long and exciting journey. This leads to the question of how long the EVs can carry them. This question by consumers leaves General Motors consistently trying to improve their products, hence the use of high-technology batteries. However, their customers still consider hybrid products and gas-powered vehicles to be more dependable, leading to a consistent drop in sales. Seeing that these leading auto companies know the cause of sales reduction, why are they seemingly static about it? The feedback from consumers is as clear as the writing on the wall, with impending danger if not listened to. But where is the solution to these EV cries? Or is there more to what is happening on the surface? Keep watching to find out. Behind the struggle. Beyond what the CEOs of Ford and GM tell us, there seems to be so much more to it. Perhaps their reluctance to respond swiftly to consumer preferences might be spurred by factors awkwardly greater than them. Some of these factors weigh heavily on government policies in different forms. Inconsistent regulations. Different countries and states have different regulations regarding electric vehicles. The variations in emission standards, safety regulations, and even EV incentives cause these automakers great trouble behind the scenes, as these differences in regulations place the burden of additional engineering and testing of these EVs. This in turn puts pressure on the company to put out their products for nothing short of a premium price. Fluctuating incentive landscape. To promote the adoption of EVs, the US government increased tax credits for electric vehicles. But due to budget constraints, these rates were reduced in the next fiscal year and are constantly revised. These fluctuations in incentives strongly affect the automobile companies, especially if they are depending a great deal on government support for their financial projections and manufacturing costs. Investment in charging infrastructure. The depth to which the government invests in charging infrastructure goes a great deal in determining how much people adopt the use of EVs. Take, for example, China's government has readily invested in charging infrastructure, and the effect of this is the increased consumer confidence in electric vehicles, as evidenced by their surge in sales. Without a robust charging network, consumers worry about how far their batteries can take them. This leaves them with the obvious option: opt for hybrid gas-powered vehicles, and in turn, there is a decline in the sales of EVs. Potential recovery solutions. Although these automobile giants, Ford and GM, were already under pressure and undergoing challenges a bit too fierce for their stance, more losses were incurred from the United Automobile Workers strike, with Ford losing $1.7 billion and GM losing over $900 million in the strike. The holes in their pockets are a bit too deep to suddenly bounce back from. Both companies already cut back on their production targets and laid off thousands of workers in just 1 week. It involves listening to a statement made by one of Ford's EV dealers, who was recorded lamenting about the state of slow sales. He noted that the production of EVs should match the customer's preferences and requests. This in itself can be a game changer for both Ford and GM, because, as the saying goes, customers are always right. There you have it, the reason why Ford and GM are too blown away by the fact that they can't sell EVs. Although the companies still thrive on the booming sales of their hybrid gas-powered and LEVs, the rapid downward trend of sales will teach them to prioritize customers over policies. What do you think about this sales twist? Share your thoughts in the comments section and stay tuned for more trends in the EV industry.